I'll tell you one thing. That is one big building. Hello everybody, and welcome to the prelude episode to a new series I will be doing on this channel. Some of you might be familiar with the Build the Earth initiative. It's a project that seeks to build a one-to-one recreation of the entire Earth in Minecraft. And I am a member of the Build the Earth Carolinas team, and I am currently the sole builder of Winston Salem, North Carolina, which is my old hometown. And I have been working on this since about mid-2020. And I haven't done much because I've taken a lot of breaks since starting this project, but I figured as a way to document some of the building process, I could start a new series up. So if you're unfamiliar with how this works, basically Build the Earth is a mod that uses open map data to recreate the entire Earth in Minecraft. That open map data, however, leaves a bit to be desired. It basically gives us these flat outlines of roads and buildings, and it is up to the brave and bold teams around the world to construct buildings such as these, which I've done. And basically, while I want to do episodes that are one building at a time, I thought today we would start with a showcase of some of the stuff I have done over the past year. So I figured we could start with some of the bigger buildings I've done. We have this one here. This is Nissan Tower. It is a large residential apartment complex in the downtown area of Winston. It took me about 2 days to do, I think from start to finish, and it's not fully done yet. It doesn't have an interior. It's got some need for some detailing on the outside, but the overall shape is there. I'm especially proud of the top up here. This was a very hard thing to get this kind of colonial style here. There are two flags up on top of the building, the American flag and the North Carolina flag. So there's a little bit of work to be done on that one, but overall it's pretty much completed. Still, again, minor detail. Some of the buildings aren't as complete. This one is the start of a Marriott Hotel, which, as you can see, I've gotten the general outlines of, but I haven't made the full shell of the building yet, and I sort of went in and did some detailing. I just wanted to make the skyline look a little better, kind of understand spatially where things were gonna go. And then this one, which is still just, again, that shell, you know, the hardest part of any of these builds is the shell, and I just got the general shaping and then said, okay, moving on. So we'll definitely come back to that one in an episode. I think that one's another hotel. This is kind of a nice little hotel district with some shops down here, like this small one, which is a nice, much more humble building. And it's got, I think, a pizza parlor down in the front. And I think this is a dry cleaner's, not really sure. Some of these facades I did in a bit of a hurry, and then they're not exactly the most accurate. I'll put up pictures throughout this video to show you some of the comparisons to the real-life building counterparts. There's a random fence line, and again we have some shells that I have yet to finish, but just needed to put there to get the general understanding. So this is one of my more recent buildings. I'm very proud of this one. I forget what this building is called, but it's another residential apartment complex, as well as some office spaces down at the bottom, I do believe. As simple as it looks, it was definitely an incredibly difficult build with all of these roof lines here. It's sort of difficult to get these smaller details that these stucco buildings tend to have, so you have to work with a lot of things. And we'll still come in and change a lot of this. There's needs for details. There were some things on the roof that I didn't do. HVAC units still need to be detailed. Yeah, we get down to the nitty-gritty here on Build the Earth, but I have a Christmas tree that I set up, I think, last Christmas, and I meant to take it down, but it's close enough to this Christmas that we'll just leave it up. This is actually the first building I did in Build the Earth. It's a transfer over from something I did pre-Build the Earth, because before Build the Earth became a project, I actually was already working on a recreation of my hometown, because that's something that I just do in Minecraft, is just recreate real-world structures. This is Winston Tower. It's one of the more front-running skyline buildings in our area. So as you can see, I've got some roof details, little words up here, the Winston Tower. I gotta finish that on the other side, I do believe, and I gotta fix these straightened lines, because that's the beauty of Build the Earth, is nothing is at that grid pattern. It's all at these weird rise-run angles that, as the series continues, you will see how frustrating those can get sometimes, but these are just lines to make sure that everything is where it should be in relative to the rest of the building. Fun fact about this building is it was originally constructed late 1800s, early 1900s, and it was actually used as the base origins of what would become the Empire State Building. Yes, both the Empire State Building and this are birthed from the same blueprints, as weird as it might seem. This is much smaller than the Empire State Building, but when I finish this one and when we do an episode on this, you'll definitely see how that inspiration can take. And we will be taking inspiration from the Build the Earth Empire State Building as well, so I'll be using some of their building techniques when finishing that one. Again, another shell here. This is a continuation of this building. This has actually a lot of other structure that goes on down in here that we'll have to build someday. Sorry I can't turn my render distance too high. It's a bit finicky. I'm still trying to work out a little bit of the screen recording bugs, so if there are some lag issues, I apologize for that. A little building called the Arts Center. And it is not done. I'm still working on how to make these windows. There's supposed to be 6 windows along here, but I only have room for 5 at the moment, so I'm trying to figure out a good way to split the difference there, or maybe I just say screw it and go with the 5. This is another restaurant downtown. Just a lot of work that I would get done, just making sure that everything is still lining up properly. Again, I've gotten a lot of work done, but this is a vastly large city. This project is something that I will probably be doing for, I don't know, the rest of my life maybe? I don't know. Unless I get bored with the game, but I don't know. I really enjoy these kind of lifelong projects that we've been doing. So here we have 2 of the most iconic structures in downtown Winston-Salem. We have 100 North Main, and we have the BB&T Tower. You might notice something about this building. It's a bit, phallic. This actually has a lot of nicknames in the town, but for our sake, we will be calling it 100 North Main. I still have to work on the dome. As you can see here, we've done a bit of experimentation work with the dome, and I think I'm going to dedicate an entire episode to actually finishing this dome. It's a very complicated structure up top. Wow, a lot of support work going on here to find those straight lines like I was talking about, to find that center, to make this curvature, but I think we're going to scrap all of this and restart, because I have a new method I want to try out to make that work. But overall, the base here was built up from scratch at this angle. So this is BB&T Tower, but recently it's been bought out by a different bank, but I'm not going to be changing this because that took me a long time to get to scale this logo here. So I will be leaving that up unless they make me change it. But this is just a simple structure that was done at these kind of interesting angles with this roof slope and these kind of cut-in edges, and I've done a double-layered glass and terracotta, or I think that's concrete, walls here to create that frosted glass look. So from afar it looks really good, and when you have shaders on it also looks good because you get that reflectivity. But I wanted this to look good with or without shaders. I didn't want to discriminate. I have done some buildings outside of the downtown area, but for the sake of this build project, we're going to definitely keep within the downtown. There are a few campuses around the city that I definitely want to try to take a stab at, and we may make these sub-projects out of some of the other areas around town, and I might make some tutorials on how to just do these basic residential areas, because I know basic residential is about 90% of what Build the Earth truly is. We'll definitely have an episode on how to increase your road size and make your roads more accurate. This is an example of a finished kind of outline of a road here, but when you get multiple lanes going on, it can definitely be a bit hair-pulling. Definitely a weird building to finish off with here, but this is 500 West 5th. I've been definitely having trouble making this facade work. The problem is that during the day, it's very shiny and reflective, but at night it's definitely very transparent glass. It's not frosted like BB&T Tower over there is, but I will definitely come back to this one and try to finish it up. It's a lot more interesting looking than these weird glass pillars that I've created here. It's got a lot more building to it that I just have not yet finished. But that's the point of this series. So yeah. So tune in for future episodes, and I don't know what we'll get started on first, but I guarantee it will be incredibly fun. But before we go, I do want to take you on a quick trip to somewhere that is near and dear to the Build the Earth Carolinas group. Welcome, friends and family, to south of the border. See, the Build the Earth Carolinas group is actually a representation of 2 states, North and South Carolina, and we all build together. This is a structure that is on the border between both of our states. That is a giant tourist destination, and anyone who's heading down to the beach from North Carolina or even the northern part of South Carolina will usually be stopping in or at least passing through south of the border, which has about 150 to 200 billboards in either direction for itself. And it's nothing more than a small little, I guess it's a theme park. It's like a fireworks stand, ice cream, you know. It's just a tourist stop. It's also a gas station, I think. One of the weirdest and most obscure places in all of North and South Carolina, and we all love it to death here, and we had a huge build event for it. This is located very far away from Winston-Salem, and I made this! I'm responsible for this building right here, this little ice cream stand. It's got some weird architecture to it, this kind of staggered effect with these domed openings here, and still got to do the interior. People are still working on south of the border to this day, but wow, look at that view. Look at that sombrero. But let's show you one of our other successful build events before we go. I present to you the Biltmore House. This is actually a large residence out in Asheville, North Carolina, and you may actually recognize it as it is the setting of a few movies. I think Richie Rich's Christmas Wish is set here. Maybe it's the first one, I'm not sure, but it's a big tourist destination of this large mansion that was built by the Vanderbilt family. And while we've got a lot of crazy exterior detail done, the interior is still not done yet. I have some photos that I need to give them to do the basement, so one day we may come in and actually just do the basement part of this. I see they've got the Christmas tree up, and that might actually also be from last Christmas as well, which is when we built this, was Christmas of 2020. Nice little walkway ramp up here that you can see. Look at that. Just look at it. They've got to finish the stables off here, but there's a lot more to be done. Build the Earth is one of those projects that's really never done. But we want to get closer and closer, and that's what this series will be all about. So I hope you guys tune in for the next episodes. I don't know how frequently I'll be posting them. I would definitely want to try to get at least one out per week, and maybe more than that if I can handle that. But I hope you guys tune in, and maybe you'll find some inspiration. If you're on a build team somewhere, or if you're on the North Carolina build team, hi. I hope you get some inspiration from this, and maybe if you leave some comments, you know, kind of giving me build advice, and we can just have a real discussion about the processes that we all go through when working on these projects. Or if you're just here to watch, if you're not a build member and you're just here to watch, that's also really, really great. So I hope to see you guys next time, but for now, this is Daniel, and I will see you all next time.